told my mother that I was going to do the Esther fast, sis was like, your insides are too dry for that fast. Day 2, you guys, it literally, I had to Google how long can a human being survive without food and water? And Google told me 3 days. And I was like, it must be different for me. Maybe for day 2, I'm just a goner. Parts of my body were just falling asleep. So it's like, losing feelings, sensations, tingling. What is this, Lord? I came across a couple videos that talked about Esther's rising. And I was just like, So this video is going to be about the Esther fast. I'll share a little life update. I'll share my experience with you and the crazy thing of what happened and the revelation that came out of that. Let's get into the video, shall we? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tarah-Lynn. I am the creator of Adored in Armor and the author of Claim Your Crown and Love Letters from the King. It has been such a long time since I've actually sat down with you guys and told you about what's been going on in life. So much. It's definitely been an interesting season, but I feel like I'm suspended in air right now. I'm just waiting, and the good part is that, I know that God is holding me as I'm suspended. Still an uncomfortable feeling. I have an idea of what's to come, but it's like waiting for it to come into completion, So that's where I'm at right now. I am in a place where I don't feel rushed or anything. I'm working from a place of rest. That's actually the season that I'm in now. And it's just really important for me to take heed to that instruction. And it is so liberating to not have, I wouldn't say the pressure to post, but I just know that it's time for me to take my time and work from a place where I understand that God is going to come through and provide for me and my family. I'm such a go-getter, and I'm always looking for the next thing, the next way in order to further build my business. But definitely this has been my season of rest and preparation. I'm giving less of me in this season. This season requires of that. I need that rest. I need to come away and honestly just dig deeper into who I am, who God has called me to be. And it has been it's grueling, but it's also so beautiful. And I've been enjoying this space. Be sure that you follow me on Instagram. I am Tarah-Lynn, and you subscribe to my newsletter list, my email list, so that you're up to date about what's going on, because there are some surprises coming up, and I'm so excited to see what God is doing in my life, and I love hearing about what he's doing in yours. So feel free to reach out and definitely comment down on the video below as well if you are being led to do any type of fast at all. I did the Esther fast going into October. Now, October is my birthday month, and it was just so funny how that even happened, because a lot of you guys have found me via my Daniel fast testimony, right? And crazy part is I was led to do that fast like the same month, my birthday month, and it's just crazy because I mentioned that there's a surprise that's coming up I mentioned that in the October video of last year for the Daniel fast video. And it's only now that this is actually being fulfilled. So I can't wait for you guys to even see how God has connected all of it. It's mind-blowing, honestly. I came across a couple videos that talked about Esther's rising and stuff like that. And I was just like, And the reason I bring this up, this little point up, is because throughout that time period, I was feeling led to read the book of Esther again, and I was just getting like a push, this knowing that it's time for the Esther fast, even though like I have never done it before. It was crazy, something I don't quite recommend. Like, you literally have to be led to do it because it is rough, sis, so rough. I think the biggest thing, I know the biggest drive, the factor that really pushed me into doing the fast is what's going on with the people of Haiti. There's just so much going on in Haiti, and it's just super infuriating to see how Haitians are being treated. I wholeheartedly believe that there is redemption for Haiti, and God has a special plan. Most recently, it was just so infuriating to see how Haitians were being treated at the border, being the names of political figures that have just complete ignorance, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the persecution is beyond. We had the assassination, we had the earthquake. There's just so much turmoil with even just a lack of resources, and banks and markets closing, and people not being able to access certain roads. There's just so much, like, they just need relief. I remember talking to my mother, and of course, you know, she's saddened, but she has hope. And that's one thing about my family that I love. Like, we just have that hope, and we just believe that God is about to do so much. I was talking to my mother, and she was like, we are waiting for our queen to arise. And that really stuck with me for a lot of reasons. Just coming across those videos that said, like, you know, it's time for the Esther fast and Esther's rising, and then my mom saying it's time for we're waiting for our queen to arise. That was definitely the final sign for me of just like, okay, God, I hear you, Esther fast, it is. I just was finding it really crazy how Haiti is constantly in the news now, and how things are just speeding up, and like it just wasn't making sense. Just one thing after the other, and just so much turmoil. I knew that something had to be done. Prayer is so powerful, but fasting also is too. So whenever you feel led to do it, do it. Okay, so I'm not going to give the whole story. I'll give a little background because it is necessary. You can find out more about the Esther fast in the Bible, in the story of Esther. But essentially, she was a young Jewish woman that God used to intercede for her people. Now, let's go a little bit into that. She was an orphan that was raised by her uncle, and he taught her in the ways in which she should go. And at the time, the king, as I said, there's a lot to it. People think this is like a whole beautiful love story, but it really is kind of like, what made her so different was the fact that when she was an orphan Jew that was raised by her uncle, and he taught her in the ways in which she should go. And he was the one that told her that she must hide her identity as she pursues queendom. Fast forward to meeting the king, and she found favor with him, and bam, she became the queen of Persia. This goes down as the first beauty pageant in world history. As she reigned as queen, her uncle Mordecai approached her and let her know that there has been a plot to terminate the Jews. And he told her, who knows if you were made queen for such a time as this? We don't know. Maybe our sis got a little comfortable in the palace or whatever, but she was terrified, and clearly she was heartbroken, but she was also fearful because not only did her husband not know that she was a Jew, she also knew that in order to speak to her husband, he needed to call upon her. And her uncle told her, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Some translations say, who knows if you have become queen for such a time as this. So Esther's response was putting her hope in God and calling for her people, Jews in all the land, to fast and pray alongside with her. This was like, if I die, I die. So God definitely gave her the confidence, and she just knew that she had to fulfill this mission. After 3 days, she courageously put on her royal robes and she approached the king, and he let out his scepter for her to touch. So basically she obtained favor again. And not only, it's not any type of favor. This king, her king, Xerxes, he said, I will give you anything, essentially. Read the story, it's good stuff. So let's get into what is the Esther fast. The Esther fast is no food, no water. It's real. It's real. Okay, you guys, when I told my mother that I was going to do the Esther fast, she told me that my insides were way too dry to do it. She was like, how are you gonna make it? How are you like, too dry, too dry. When she says that, she means that like, you know, I'm a girl. Oh, and it's just hilarious because, I mean, it's not really a good thing, but I'm often dehydrated, so I have to like remember and be super conscious of like drinking water and just staying hydrated and stuff like that. So I understand her concerns, but she had peace when I told her God is leading me to do this, and so if he's leading me to it, then he's gonna lead me through it, you know? So that definitely gave her peace, but I was cracking up because when I was doing the Daniel fast, she said something hilarious as well. Go watch that video, it's so funny. She was 100% backing me and praying for me as I was doing this as well. Now, I mentioned to you that the Daniel fast last year, that was the first time I ever did it. So coming into this Esther fast was a new experience. It was quite crazy. It was quite, yeah, the Lord kept me, let's just say that. I did it with my best friend, which made it a lot easier and a lot enjoyable because we were able to like crack up and like even laugh at, you know, I mentioned that we watched the Esther fast, not the Esther fast, you can go. Okay. We watched the Queen Esther movie. Even the grapes look scrumptious on that screen, you guys. And I'm not even a grape girl. Well, I like the green ones, you know? And that's what we had too. So we knew like once the fast finished, we had to eat some grapes. The first day I was fine. Of course it was like difficult because it's like, okay, day one, what to do? But then day two, you guys, it literally, I had to Google how long, like, I got my laptop here. How long can a human being survive without food and water? And Google told me 3 days. And I was like, it must be different for me. Maybe for day 2, I'm just a goner. I actually can't do this because you guys, not only was I feeling lightheaded, my parts of my body were just falling asleep, especially like my feet. So it's like, losing feelings, sensations, tingling. What is this, Lord? And like I would laugh about it and stuff, and I would just like push past it, but I was just like, And it was that night that I felt a lump on my eye, but it wasn't like too bothersome. I was just like, okay, whatever. I was just happy that day 2 was over, and yeah, I was like moving on to day 3, and that day felt like forever. Let me put this down again and pick up my journal because now it's revelation time. That day really just felt like forever, and that bump on my eye, it got a little bigger, and so I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know. But fast forward to the end of the fast, we ended strong. It was great. It was so empowering. It was so rejuvenating and fulfilling to know that, yes, I obeyed, and yes, I am standing in the gap. I am here to push forward the kingdom on earth, especially for your people who have been persecuted for so long. So the fast was over, right? And the first day that was like regular, you know, back to eating and stuff like that, that lump on my eye, it was gigantic, huge, and it hurt so bad. When I tell you guys, it was so bad. It was on this eye. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Is this an after effect from fasting? I mean, I never heard this, but again, I never experienced this, so I don't know what to expect. And then Google let us know that it was a sty, and I was like, I don't understand how this could have happened. I am a neat freak. I don't touch my face unless I'm removing or cleaning, like, you know, or unless I'm washing it. I take care of my pillowcases. I'm just very particular about the things that touch my face. And I just didn't know what was going on. Like, you guys, I was like this. Wait, that's the wrong eye. I was like this. Because this eye, this eye was small, so in a way, like this eye, I had to like squint as well, so that I was able to see. And thank God that I didn't have to go anywhere. I was like, honestly, that's the only plus of this pandemic, that I'm just like here and I don't have as many speaking engagements and just events in general. But I was literally like, yo, I could barely see, and this thing hurts. Like, it literally burned, and I had to go to the emergency room. I was like, are you kidding me? But I went there and they gave me some ointment for it. And of course, the ointment like worked and stuff, but it took some time, probably like a week or so. But when I tell you guys, it was gigantic. Maybe I'll show you guys pictures. Maybe we'll see how I feel about that. I mean, it's on the cover of this video, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And honestly, it sucked me of my energy. And not only just that, I just really suffered with productivity at that time. And I mentioned in the beginning that it's my season of rest. However, I realized that I haven't, you guys, I've rebranded. So I'm TarahLynnAdorn.com now. And I wanted to write a blog post to share where I am right now, and just what is going on right now. So I was like, I already had most of it done, but I could not finish it. And it bothered me so much. Like, when I tell you, I literally had to do like this. And like lay down and stuff, because I didn't understand, okay, why can't I work? Like, of course I knew like I was tired, you know, because, but I mean, do styles really like make you tired? I don't know, whatever, but I just couldn't understand, and it really bothered me. That's a pet peeve of mine, trying to get things done. I'm very action oriented, and so if I can't get something done that I want to, especially if it pertains to my brand, it bothers me a lot. So pay attention, because this all plays a part of the revelation in the end. And I just want to say, just insert that here, notice, no, I'll say that after. But it was funny too, because my sister came over and she saw my eye, and you guys, when I tell you, that thing was so ugly. Like, it had like the eye crust, you know, the eye dookie and stuff. And I'm not gonna show you that picture. I'll show you like the one that's like, you know, presentable. What I'm proud of, and what my family said they're proud of, is just the fact that I wasn't stuck on my appearance. I think what definitely helped was the fact that I wasn't going out, but I was also just like at the mindset that this will pass. I don't understand what this is, and I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, that was the end of me, like, you know what I mean? So I didn't understand how it happened, but I just know that it did, and so I was just trying to deal with it. So yeah, I was watching things like this. I was like walking around like this. If I had to run like a quick errand, I might as well put on the eye patch, to be honest. But like, even the sun irritated it. My sister was just like, my poor sister, oh my God, they got you like that, sis. Like, because it really was wild. It really was. And she just pointed it out though, that I just came off of a fast, you know, and now I'm being hit with a Job-like experience. And I thought of that as well, but again, I wasn't trying to make it just over spiritualize things, you know, just taking it for what it was. But I have my journal here because it's revelation time. I remember that night, like, we chuckled at how a loser the enemy is and how random, and I was sharing with my best friend and my sister that I was only now just starting to believe that it was an attack. They quickly agreed, and I was just speaking to them about how discouraged I was and just low energy, and how the weight of my eye is just so heavy and it's so painful. It's so funny because I remember at this time, especially that day, I was just feeling really closed in. Like, I was feeling really closed off. I didn't really feel like speaking or sharing how I felt, but I do remember that conversation, and I remember how I was just like, I wonder what the goal of the enemy was, like, for hitting me with this. And I'll tell you what that was. Throughout the whole time that it was hurting, I kept saying that the sty is heavy. and how the weight of it was really making me lethargic. I was so sleepy. It was obstructing my vision. Like, I not only had to squint, but I had to, like, I saw it in the peripheral of my eye as well. And it was just so painful. I had to take medication for it. And that's always my last resort. I typically just stick it through if I'm in pain any way, anyhow. And I was just talking about how I just feel so off since I finished the fast. So I got my period too, so that didn't help, you know? So it was just like a whole bunch of things. But I had to reflect on this fact. Whenever the enemy attempts to bring me down, like, he'll try to attack in certain ways, and I'm not gonna share all that here because, yeah, wisdom. But one thing I will say is that I have super confident body image, you know? And so I knew that in trying to put this thing on me, he was just trying to distort my view of not only what I see, you know, what God is doing in my life, but my perception of self. And making me tired. He already knows that one of my pet peeves is not being able to do work efficiently. So you guys notice the patterns of the enemy. He's not creative. He'll try the same thing over and over again. He'll just use a different circumstance, but it's the same tactics. It's whack. It was just so interesting that once I opened up and I spoke about these things, once I pinpointed what it was that he was actually doing, and what I was feeling, I felt my eye opening up. It was so funny because, of course, you know, what's that thing called? The ointment was working, but I literally just felt like my eye was being peeled back. Like, those eye crusts, like, they were gone. Like, so though it was the same size, I could see better and it didn't feel as heavy. The enemy was trying to obstruct my vision for my future, present, and obstruct my vision of what God is going to do. So it was like the test was to name the attack and not think that it was a natural occurrence. So of course, rebuke the enemy and all of that. And I was just so grateful for revelation and healing. And I just really love the part of where my sister was like, he really tried to hit you with a Job experience, but he failed. So yeah, that was my test. I am so proud of myself. And honestly, you guys, I will not be doing an Esther fast anytime soon, unless the Lord leads me, because it's not something you just like do. Like you literally need the strength for it. Like, he needs to strengthen you for it. It was real, no food, no water, not recommended, not at all. Like, you just feel so dry, but it's so beautiful doing it for the cause of Christ. I will definitely say that. So beautiful. One thing about me is if I feel led to do something, then I will be obedient. So if you guys feel led to do a fast, whether it be an Esther fast or some other fast, be obedient, because there is so much waiting for you inside of it, outside of it. And even if you don't see the results that you were praying and fasting for, as I was, just praying for my people, I still believe that redemption is here. I still believe that healing is here, that restoration is here, that God is coming through, and that he has not forgotten his people, that the Haitian people are his. No matter what the world thinks, they are not forsaken. We are not forsaken. We are loved, we are chosen, we are his, and we are set apart as well. We are a part of his royal family. And so if you feel like you are being called to intercede, answer it. Answer that call. Don't force yourself to fast simply because of religion. That's not what this is at all. Remember that this is relationship, and honestly, when you do things out of religion and tradition, it's like, it sucks the joy and the fun out of it. Like, where's the revelation of every day if you're stuck in the confines of what is supposed to be? You know what I mean? If you can't do the Esther fast, don't beat yourself up about that either. If you have a health restriction or underlying health condition, there are other ways to honor God and be obedient to him. So just seek those ways out. One thing that was super cool, and I wrote this down, I was finishing up the book of Esther again, and I flipped the page and I realized that the next book is Job. So crazy, right? So I was inspired to fast for my people as Esther did. And as I completed it, here Satan thought he could take me down with a Job experience. And I was just like, Witty placement, Jesus. That was cute. I love when he's like creative like that. Of course, it was already set like that, you know, but the way he does things is just so humorous for me. He has humor, you know, and I'm so proud because he's proud and he loves me and he loves you and he looks forward to the ways in which you will seek him deeper and just find intimacy, greater intimacy with him. He's waiting for you. He has called you. He has chosen you. You are so, so loved. Definitely stand in the authority of who you are. There is power in your voice. There is authority in who you are. Who knows? Maybe you were made royal for such a time as this. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope that was everything. This is actually my second time filming this video, and honestly, I can't believe what I had to go through in order to get this content to you, but I pushed through because the transformation is just beyond. It really is, and you'll see that even more so when I have the time, when I'm given the green light to actually announce what that surprise is. I'll see you later. Bye.